Isaiah chapter 63, verse 17. O Lord, why hast thou made us to err from thy ways, and harden our hearts from thy fear? Return for thy servants' sake, the tribes of thine inheritance. The people of thy holiness have possessed it but a little while. Our adversaries have trodden down the sanctuary. We are thine. Thou never bearest rule over them. Talking about the other nations. They were not called by thy name. All right, so our people have, for the longest, not had any fear in offending the Most High, right? So it says, like, why made us to err, right, from thy ways, right, which is the law, statutes, and commandments. Our people have been far from the law for far too long, where they behave as if they have no fear in their heart to break the Most High's laws, right? It says, return for thy servants' sake, right? We as Israel are supposed to be the servants of the Most High, right? So please return to us, right? The tribes of thine inheritance, right? We are the inheritance of the Most High, right? For the sake of the covenant that he made with Abraham and Isaac, right? The people of thy holiness, talking about Israel. We only possess the law, statutes, and commandments in the covenant for a little while. But when our people begin to go off and make covenants with the heathens and, during slavery and going through the lands and defiling our temple, right? Defiling the covenant, the customs, the law, statutes, and commandments the Most High got from around us, right? And we begin to be with these dumb idols, but he only dealt with us from the very beginning, right? He gave the law, statutes, and commandments to Israel. He never dealt with no other nation. All right, let's move on. This is the book of Psalm chapter 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Verse 20. He have not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So what this is basically talking about, just like we were just dealing with in Isaiah 63, verse 17 through 19, right? He only gave his law, statutes, and commandments to Israel, and he hasn't dealt so with any other nation, right? So the other nations don't know his judgments, nor do they know his laws unless they learned it from us, right? And when it comes to the judgments, this is why Deuteronomy 28 says what it says. And this is why Israel is at the bottom of the totem pole all over the world, financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, right? We are in the lowest state known to mankind all over the world because the judgment was placed on us. Excuse me. Because the judgment was placed on us all throughout the world, right? That's your Daniel 9 and 12. Matter of fact, we're going to get that. Watch this. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 9, starting at verse 9. Just get a little context, right? It says, to the Most High our power belong mercies and forgivenesses, though we have rebelled against him. Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Most High our power to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants, the prophets. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. All right, verse 12. And he have confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judge us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Under the whole heaven nobody has received such great evil as the Israelites have received. Nobody matches the curses of Deuteronomy 28 like your so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Nobody matches those curses but our people. That's what that's talking about. That's what that's dealing with, right? And it's because we departed from the law. We departed from the oath. We departed from our end of the bargain. So he left us outside in the rain. All right, let's move on. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 12. And further by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books there is no end, and much study is weariness of the flesh. All right, so the more you are studying the laws, statutes, and commandments, the weaker your flesh gets. The more you are writing down scriptures, filling up binders, the more you have the law in your mind, in your heart, the weaker your flesh gets. Weariness of the flesh. You can be reading, you can be writing down scriptures and studying, and all of a sudden get tired and you go to sleep. Now your body is meditating on what you have been reading and writing down. When you wake up, your mind frame, because your body shut, like when your body shuts down, right? When you go to sleep, you know what I mean? You get that chance to meditate on the word, right? The Most High gets to deal with you. You know what I mean? You've been reading, you've been writing and building a rapport with studies and scriptures, right? Verse 13, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. So, along with this weariness of the flesh behind making much study and being in your word, you have to keep this in mind, that the whole duty of man is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. He didn't put it there for no reason for you not to keep it because, the law is done away with and we just walking by faith and Christ gave us 2 laws. No. Right? The 2 laws are to love the Most High with all your heart. This is what Christ gave you. Love the Most High with all your heart and love your neighbor as you love yourself. When you break down what it means to love the Most High with all your heart, that's still keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, because that's how you show them you love them. And loving your neighbor is not killing, stealing, committing adultery, these things. So it all goes back to the law anyway. He just tried to sum it up for you, right? Focus on keeping the fruit of the Spirit, you know what I mean? Because that puts you in a situation where if I'm keeping the fruit of the Spirit, I'm already going to have the law on my mind. If I want to operate in love, peace, joy, meekness, temperance, gentleness, goodness, faith, long suffering, then I'm already going to be operating in the law because I want those things for my life. So why wouldn't I want it for somebody else? Right? Let's continue. Book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 22. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils? And in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. So let's just put it out on the table right here. If you're doing work for the Most High, if you are in ministry, right? If you have a Bible, period, and you know the law, you need to be keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Right? If you are doing ministry and you think you're doing wonderful works and all this, that, and the third, you need not to be in iniquity. Iniquity is transgression of the law. Iniquity is sin, right? Iniquity is opposite of the Most High's will. Let's not be in that, right? It's the book of 1 John, chapter 4, and verse 20. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love God, whom he has not seen? Right? So, again, the 2 greatest commandments is to love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, which is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Right? Now let's get this scripture that's in Torah that backs up this same scripture right here, right? Watch this. This is the book of Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. All right. So we're not holding grudges on each other. We're not trying to go to war against each other. We're not seeking vengeance against each other, having malice towards each other, right? We are loving our neighbors as we love ourselves. What does that mean? If I don't want anybody to steal from me, then I need not steal from anybody. If I don't want anybody to kill me, then I need not to have the thought process or the action of killing my own people, right? If I don't want anyone to sleep with my wife or wives, then I need not to have the mindset to want to commit adultery, right? I mean, that's just common sense. Let's continue. All right, so going back and off what we were talking about earlier about how someone is supposed to behave when dealing in ministry. I feel like this is a good scripture. Some people debate this scripture for different reasons, but we're just going to focus on the customs and the character of a man dealing in ministry, especially when dealing with a bishop, right? So 1 Timothy chapter 3, starting at verse 1, this is a true saying, if a man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth a good work. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, right? So you can't be trying to be a bishop and you don't know the scriptures, right? So you got to be apt to teach, right? Let's continue. Verse 3, not given to wine, no striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous. All right, so he's not out here getting drunk, fighting people, being greedy, taking everybody's money, right? Cutting people off, right? He's not a fighter. He's not brawling. He's not gossiping. He is not taking somebody else's house, car, wife, right? Because he's not covetous, right? Verse 4, one that ruleth well his own house. So you got to be able to show that you can control your own household before you can desire the office of a bishop. And we got to see that you can run your household, right? That your wife and children are in subjugation under the law of the Most High that you've been teaching them, right? It says, one that ruleth his own house, having his children in subjugation with all gravity, right? So your son can't be out here in a strip club. Your daughter can't be the stripper, right? Okay? You got to show that you know how to operate in righteousness and lead your house, you know what I'm saying, in the law, right? Verse 5, for if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? You see what I'm saying? So he has to rule over his own household first. We have to see that he knows how to conduct himself with his wife and children, and that he's taking care of the responsibilities of being a husband and being a father before he can rule a congregation teaching everybody to keep the law, because people are just going to look at him like a hypocrite if he don't know how to conduct his own house, right? Verse 6, not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride he fall into the condemnation of the devil. See? So he can't be new to this thing. He has to be well learned and studied in the scriptures and staying in the law. This can't be a new thing to him, that he just picked up the Bible yesterday and all of a sudden he's a bishop, right? All right, people. Harsh reality, harsh truth. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 8. He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. All right. So the Word, which is the Messiah, manifest, became flesh, kept the law perfectly, kept his word perfectly, right? And created an army of people that are going to follow his law, which is going to do away with the works of the devil, which is being in sin, right? Proverbs chapter 26 verse 11. As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. So, man, when you get out of sin, when you get away from wrongdoing, just don't go back to it, right? Because that's the fool that returneth to his folly. If you quit smoking, quit smoking. Don't go back to it, right? If you are in your flesh and you have certain sexual urges and you used to taking matters into your own hands, man, don't go back to that when you got away from that, right? Stealing and, just being in error. Once you got out of that, stay out of that, right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 100. I understand more than the ancients because I keep thy precepts. So, oftentimes, those who are reading the Bible and understand scriptures, they understand who they are, they understand what the Bible is actually talking about. We understand more in the scriptures than the people that raised us and the people that raised them, right? Because we keep the precepts. So most people that you see smoking cigarettes, rotten teeth, standing on the street corners, drinking beer, right, jobless, 60-something years old, living with family members, right? A lot of times these people don't understand the scriptures, right? Because they're not reading and they're not studying. But you understand more than them because you take time out of your day to focus on what you've been missing being in a Christian church, right? You always felt like there was something missing. You always felt like there was something that wasn't being told to you, right? And you did your own research and studies, and here we are. All right, Proverbs chapter 28 and verse 4. They that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. All right, so you often see people who are not keeping the law being praised. And people who are keeping the law, we're always the outcasts, right? People are always treating us like we think that we're better than everybody, right? And that puts us in a situation where we're at odds with the average person. All right, let's continue. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 51 and verse 9. Hide thy face from my sins and blot out all my iniquities. Ooh-wee, please, right? Hide thy face from my sins, right? I'm talking about all the wrong that I've ever done in my life, right? Blot out all mine iniquities, right? Please, okay? If the Most High does not do that for Israel, there is no salvation for nobody. Nobody. So this is the omnipotent grace, favor, and mercy that we will see the Father having. This does not give you the license to sin, right? This does not give you the opportunity to say, you know what, I'm going to go back and backslide because he's going to forgive me. No. That's not what that's talking about. We're just asking forgiveness for the sins that we've committed in ignorance. Right? Sins that we've been doing wrong for a long time. Please forgive us of those said sins. Khan? All right, the book of Luke, chapter 8, and verse 12, it says, "Those by the wayside are they that hear, then cometh the devil, and taketh away the word out of their hearts, lest they should believe and be saved." All right, so as soon as you get the law, statutes, and commandments, as soon as you begin to getting some scriptures, somebody start talking to you about the Bible, now you're dealing with distractions, right? You might get into it with a family member, and that can alter your heart, your mind. It's like a little test to see if you're going to be willing to stay within this and keep it pushing on the scriptures. You got to remember in your mind, you wasn't going through it with that family member. You weren't dealing with this, that, and the third with your neighbors or the children or nothing like that. When you was watching TV, watching them crazy ratchet shows, everything was chilling. The moment you decide you want to pick up the Bible, now here come all these distractions. Everybody want to argue. Everybody want to call your phone. Everybody want to, distract you, right? That's all it is, right? So that it can alter your mind, let you believe and be saved. Remember what Ephesians 6 and 12 says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." All right, so we understand this, right? Mark chapter 4 and verse 15. It says, "And these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown, but when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts." All right. So if you got the word in your heart, that's the key to salvation. So now that Satan has to come and take that from you to distract you from being on the right hand of the Father. All right.